Hi YouTuber members, sorry I couldn't do a video today because I want to read out some quotes and it's impossible to film and do that at the same time. So I was very inspired by them, and this morning I was just thinking about astrology, and because I'm about to do a reading today, and I've had a bit of a spiritual crisis, I guess. Well, it's been ongoing for the last few years, really, about how does astrology work? Am I a fake? Am I a phony? Am I not cashing in on something? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been thinking that I don't like a lot of the culture around astrology, and as you've already seen in my other video about, is it codependency with astrology? And I don't like to encourage that. And you see, for myself, I used to keep a record of my transits, but I really don't. I'm kind of too busy to even look at my own. And sometimes I will. Like at the moment, I've got a sort of a bit of a relationship issue. So I have kind of checked out on Davison charts and stuff. It's I think astrology is very, very good for relationships. I really like doing synastries because you can really see the patterns between people there. And it really works with that. And it also goes with this quote because, certain wines go with certain foods, don't they? So, they can complement it, or they can, or they could just not go together at all. But it doesn't mean to say that, fish is bad because it doesn't go with red wine. Well, some of it does. But anyway, whatever. So it's not a question of, is that bad? It's just, it doesn't jive. And it's all about the artistry of life, trying to match things so that they bring out the best in each other. It's like when you decorate a room or whatever. At the moment, I'm trying to do that. It's like, does that grey sing when it's next to this colour? And what type of grey? Is it a blue grey? Is it a greeny grey? Whatever. So, it's all like, no, that grey is wrong for this kitchen, but it's not wrong in general. And it's the same thing with, transits happening as well. Is a Saturn transit wrong? Well, it might be wrong if you're someone who's pretty lazy and doesn't like to take responsibility. But, it's a hard knock, and it's, you have to go and you got to get fit to it. Anyway, so let me go to the quote. It's in my photos. Yeah, this is it. So, Carl Jung, we are born at a given moment and in a given place, and like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and of the season of which we are born. Astrology does not lay claim to anything more. Yeah, yes, totally agree. So we know that, all we have to do is look at history, and, each period has a distinct style and flavour. The 60s are the 60s. They're not the 80s. And then you get like echoes, don't you? Because there was a 60s revival in the 80s. So you do, these are cycles of times, and you can definitely see repeat patterns, styles. This time is good for certain people, so that's what it describes. I don't want to sort of repeat myself and go on about like, what I've already said, but it is that. It describes archetypes of time. And so again, now this is another thing as well. Let's look at the other quote, because this is also, I think this is the more famous one that everyone knows. Where are you? Okay. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. well, I will, say also you will call it astrology, because again, it's like when I read a chart and there are certain patterns there, are those really directing that person? Are they making that personality like that? Or are they, is it just a pattern that is, what's the word, inspiring my intuition to lock into a part of their personality that may not be obvious to them? And because, God, there's a big swarm of birds. Anyway, so what I do when I do a reading is I do ask for a bit of family background, and it's so important to know the family background, because the family background is everything. And I've been doing this for 10 years of asking people to do. God, it's noisy to do. To answer these questions, and I've seen patterns now, and I've learned a lot about human nature. I mean, I always have been interested in it, because from the age of 18, trying to understand what the heck was going on in my life, and why my parents were so batty, and I did do sociology and psychology at school, and I was going to do those. I was going to become a social worker, but then I realised that I was too kind of artistic for that, and also I'm not very good at very hands-on healing type things, because I'm too sensitive and I need to have some kind of distance between it. So I didn't go down that path, but I was always interested in it, and astrology was always there. And my mother used to go to a lot of psychics all the time. And the thing was, the reason I latched onto astrology was because the whole psychic thing seemed a little bit wishy-washy, and how can you know? And I wanted something more scientific and provable. So I really shied away from the psychic thing. And I think what's happened is, because of that, I've been a bit wary of sort of saying I have any psychic abilities at all. And now I'm thinking, when I look at the readings and stuff, I think, I've had some very accurate readings where people have said to me, how did I predict somebody's wife leaving them? I mean, I didn't say that they would, because you can't, but it looked so, I was just getting such strong feelings that there was a third, like there was Lilith involved and Pluto and everything. But those were just like reading tarot cards. They were just synchronicities of describing a situation where, the wife was having an affair, and in the end, she left for this guy. So in the reading, all I said was, because I think I'm not sure if they told me they were having problems or they were seeing therapy. I can't remember now. Well, maybe I didn't. It was kind of out of nowhere, and I just said, is there a sort of a third person around? I said, maybe, I think so. I said something like, maybe, just pay your wife a bit more attention or something, because there may be a wandering eye going on here, and I don't know. Anyway, I just sort of like hinted at it, because, it can happen anyway. That's a feasible thing, that, people take each other for granted, and then, the wife bumps into somebody, and, and then they can have an affair because they're being ignored. So it could have been something to do with that. But anyway, the thing was, I got a really strong feeling about it. And now I think, well, yeah, that was just kind of a bit of a psychic thing. Or is it a psychic thing? Or is it just human nature, if you know it well enough? And if and also this client I've had for like 5-6 years. So we know each other really well. I have a really strong connection with them, synastry as well. So it could just be that, I was sensing it for them because I know them so well. I don't normally know, that's the thing. I don't like doing readings for friends, as I've said before, because mixing business with pleasure is no good. But because this was such a long-term client, I knew them very well from a distance and their whole life. And I've been doing, yearly readings for a long time. So anyway, but But that was great because I got so much feedback all the time from this client, because they were always like, oh my God, I keep coming back to you because you're so accurate. But I don't know if I have that degree of accuracy with everyone, but I do seem to have it a lot, so that's nice. But then again, I just wonder, is it the star? I think I'm blown away, because is it the planets really that accurate? Do people really, do these planets really make these things happen? Does the Uranus on the descendant really make divorce happen more likely? I've seen rocky things happening in marriages when Uranus is on the descendant, or even on the ascendant, because it's a relationship axis. So there is synchronicities there, but again, it doesn't have to be, because there are so many different permutations of how it would work out. So there's that. So what else was I going to say? It was mainly about talking about the psychic thing and developing psychic abilities, and how important it is to study people and get into psychology, really, because that's something I've always been into, and I've read so many. It's nice to study that. But also another thing as well is that lately I found a few people to listen, and they're not spiritual guides, they're just older women. And one thing I haven't really come to terms with is the fact, and I've never really talked about my age, because I'm like my mother. She's terrible. She always wanted to be young. She used to have a lot of plastic surgery, which is something I haven't done. But, I've grown up with this, like, you have to keep yourself young. And I mean, it's good in ways because you keep yourself fit. And, here I am decorating the bathroom. I'm bloody exhausted from it. My shoulder is clicking and I'm thinking, is this arthritis? And then, I've started to think, I've got to start accepting my age a bit more, because battling against it is bloody exhausting. So, yeah, I'm coming up to, where am I now? I don't even remember my age. Yes, I think, am I 57? I think I'm 57. Yeah, it's just I forget about it. So, but then it dawned on me that, Jesus, I'm going to be 60 at some point soon. It will happen. I mean, 3 years goes so quickly, and I'm going to have to kind of come to terms with that. And but the good thing about being older is that you do have this wisdom. You've seen it all. You've seen the repeated patterns. You've seen your girlfriends split up with their husbands and then regret it, and you've seen all these things. And around me at the moment, I've noticed that there's a lot of people really unhappy, and they're sort of coming to me for advice. And it's a bit overwhelmed, because I've got to kind of do that plus my work. And I just thought, why? I mean, I sometimes think, well, they sort of said, oh, don't you get really depressed, or don't you always want one more of the glass of wine? And I was thinking, well, no. And don't you get lonely? No. I'm quite happy. I just realised I'm actually quite happy with my own company, but it could just be my personality type, that I've always been like that. I've always been a loner, and I quite like it. I don't need outside, I don't need a big busy social life at all. I have got quite a busy one now at the moment, and it is nice, but I still need my alone time to just recover from it. And then I was kind of grateful. I thought, well, I'm kind of grateful that I can be self-sufficient. And why is that? Is it because when I grew up, I mean, I had a sister, but we used to sort of play, we used to play together, but we also played solo. And we did rely on each other a lot, because our parents were just not around. And I think, being 3 years older, maybe there was a lot of time I spent alone. I mean, I remember I used to do a lot of drawing on my own. I used to do my own magazines and stuff. And yeah, I was quite happy in my imagination. So sometimes I think if you were left, it was the sort of, I call it the kind of Spartan upbringing. If you did have a bit of a problematic family, it toughens you up. You know, I think back to it now, and I think it actually gave me a lot of gifts. And one of them was being psychic, because you had to sort of know when a row was going to happen. You could feel it brewing, and then you're like, Scarpa, get out of the way. And learning to be independent and look after yourself, and rely on yourself, because you're not going to rely on your parents at all, you know. So, and I'm still doing that now, decorating my own bathroom. Although have decided when I move, I'm going to move into a place that doesn't need any work, because I'm too old for this. That's the thing. When it comes to 58, you shouldn't be up a ladder doing decorating. I mean, it's all right, but my shoulder is really killing me now. So, yeah. So maybe that's the thing. You have to start looking after yourself a bit more. But I always keep fit, so, you know, so I'm not too bad. But anyway, what was I saying? So going back to, So going back to childhood things, if you have had a bit of a loopy childhood, you see, the thing is, you can blame it. There's a lot of people who have addiction issues, and I'm not perfect, by the way. You know, I do enjoy a glass of wine, but no, not more than one, because I can't do more than one. I've just realised I did a couple of weeks without the red wine to see if the histamine, and it is. I've realised I'm bloody allergic to red wine. I had one last night, and you can hear it. I like this morning, sinus, sore throat. You know, it's like reflux, everything. So I am allergic to it, which is really sad because I love it. But I think I'll be all right with rosé. Anyway, the thing is, I could never become an alcoholic because I can't drink that much. I just can't. And I am amazed at the amount of alcohol some people can drink on an empty stomach and be fine the next day. I mean, not fine, but feel the same way as I do if I just have one. And they're, you know, it's not like they're young. These are people my age. So, yeah. So anyway, so that's how long have I been rabbiting on? Okay, 17 minutes. Anyway, the thing is, I think that my point is, I'm not sure, is that as you get older, you kind of accept who you are. I mean, that was another thing. I used to feel like there was something wrong with me because I was such a loner, and I had lots of people, you know, a lot of friends saying, you've got to get out more, what's the matter with you? It's not healthy to be on your own so much. But I'm not the one that has addiction problems, and I'm not the one who is always ringing up for help. I don't do that to my friends. I never do. I don't think I ever reach out for anyone for any help, ever, unless I'm totally in bits, which I can't remember the last time I have ever been like that. So there's just too many other things to do. Anyway, so I don't know if that sounds a bit smug, doesn't it? But I've been watching a lot of videos about, you know, lone wolves and people who, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I don't know what my IQ level when I was younger, I know, was 120, and they were sort of saying, oh, high IQ people like their own company, and maybe that's it. Maybe I just couldn't entertain myself, and I'm all right. So, yeah. But I was, yeah, I mean, it's not a massive IQ. It's not 140. I know I have a friend who's 140. She's a very interesting person. But again, you know, she's quite happy in her own company too. I've noticed this. So yeah, I think being the lone wolf, I like it now. I embrace it. And I'm starting to embrace the age thing. I've admitted it. I've said to everyone how old I am now. And yeah, I'm going to grow out the greys as well. And oh yes, that's another thing. I found a couple of channels which are for older women, like over 50. I thought, let's start listening to that, because I've got to stop, you know, kidding myself. I'm not, you know, in my 40s anymore, my 30s. There's a whole new set of issues that happen when you're over 50. And there's this other woman who I listen to. She's 83. I've discovered her, Sandra. I don't know what her channel's called, but she's 83, and she's like sort of the grandma, well, really, she's the mother that I never had. She's so wise, and I just listen to her, and it's like having like a wise old woman, embracing the crone years. So that might be the next project that I do later on. So I was thinking, yes, that was another thing. I was thinking, oh my God, with YouTube, it's a young person's game. Once I start getting wrinkly and older, people won't want to watch anymore. I mean, but again, that's a remnant of insecurity from my ageless mother, who is 84 as well and still teaching Kalanetics. I mean, I really admire that about her. And she did, despite she hasn't had tons of surgery, she hasn't had Botox, she can't afford it anymore. She's had a nose job and a chin job. But she does look bloody good. And, she's still like really, it's admirable. It's a real sort of Aries, like she's Aries she's built like a tank, nothing destroys her, which is, great. So, when you have this Spartan Aries upbringing, it stops you from being a victim at all. You can't be a victim with that. It's like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and I think that's actually served me well, and not being a disadvantage. Sorry, I'm waffling on now, but it's not like I don't get insecure, because I do. I'm not like got it all sorted, but you just have to be grateful. That's kind of what I'm saying for everything that happens in your life. And some people, you can get kind of too caught up in, my parents weren't perfect, they were emotionally unavailable and blah blah blah, but they could have been a lot worse, and there's a lot of really horrible abuses that happen. So it's just forgive them, because life's too short. The world is a really difficult place to live in, from what I keep seeing around me. And you just got to be grateful that you can be happy at all sometimes in it, and find something that makes you happy, no matter how small. All right, I think I'll leave it there. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.